Would you love for your child to love reading? There are so many reasons that having a passion for reading can benefit your child in school and in life. So I'm going to talk tonight about how to encourage and teach your child to have that love for reading that we hope our kids can have. And I'm going to talk about kids of all ages. So you can't develop this skill too young, and you can't give up on a kid who's older. It's really easy to instill that love for reading, even if you have a reluctant reader, a child who hasn't loved reading. I'm going to give you 6 keys today to help kids of all ages get interested and motivated and learn to love reading. So I want to first welcome everybody in. I see Eileen is here already. Eileen, it is always a joy to see you. So welcome in, and welcome in everybody. As you all know, this is a full scope location. And so I want you to know, as parents, I have answers for you for the challenges of parenting, whether they are challenges of handling a busy home, or reaching goals at work, or goals for yourself personally, or work balance issues. I deal with a lot of kids issues. So we've had some talks, and I work with parents on handling issues of tantrums or rebellion in older kids. I've talked about sleep issues in kids of all ages and building independence and life skills for kids. So you can always be sure that you're going to learn something interesting. We're going to have some great topics here, and I love to welcome people in. Today, we're going to talk about building that love for reading. So let's dive right in. Now, we often think that kids learn to read in school, and that is true. They learn to read in school, but they don't always learn to love to read in school. And that's often because they're getting assignments for reading. They don't get to pick their book sometimes. They're getting tested on their reading skills. So it happens very often that kids get stressed about reading, whether they're reading on level, what their teacher is thinking. And again, they don't always get that love for reading in school. But I find with the parents and families that I work with, I tell them, let's encourage, let's facilitate, let's build that love for reading at home. Because it makes such a difference when kids enjoy reading as opposed to when it's a chore and they only pick up a book when they absolutely have to and are forced to do it. It helps them when they're young. It helps them when they're older. And you cannot do this at any wrong age. It's never too young to think about building readers in kids. Let babies and toddlers get used to holding books and turning pages and listening and seeing you read stories to them, so that when it's time for them to learn to read, they're already used to reading time and holding books, and it's not a new experience for them. It's that they're getting excited because now they're going to be the reader. So I'm going to talk today about some keys for encouraging kids of all ages. And reading is such an important skill in life and in school. In school, it helps them build vocabulary and language skills and learn and see spelling and get thinking and comprehension skills. So it's really, really a gift to our kids if we can give them that passion for books, for reading. So let's talk about number 1. So a love for reading is just not only reading the first word of the book to the last word of the book. It's not just the book and the words in it. It's the discussions that we can have about a book. It's the experience that we can have about reading with each other and sharing time together over a book. It's the process of choosing books that excite us, that kids can enjoy and get interested in. And those conversations, I want to give you some conversation starters. So when you read a book, you can ask, what did you like about this book? What did you think about when the character did this? Or why do you think the author wrote this book? Would you recommend this book to your friends, to other people in your class? Would you want to read this book again? Why or why not? There are so many conversation starters. And again, it's those conversations that we can have with our kids about books that often build the love for reading. So that's number one. And number two is understand your relationship with your child as it relates to reading. And I'm going to go over those relationships that you can think about for all ages. So I'm going to list them to you and then explain them. So for babies, for infants, you're reading to them. For toddlers, you're reading with your child. For emerging readers, you're reading with and beside your child. And for tweens and teens, it's reading as a partner. And I'm going to explain all of this. So for babies, obviously they're non-readers. You're reading to them, but you want to get them into the habit of spending time reading, of having that experience together. So you might want to use different voices for different characters or animals, or make anything you could do to make books and reading fun, maybe cuddling on the couch or with a blanket, anything that makes reading fun. And they can point to areas in the book. And it's for toddlers, it's reading with your child. So you're no longer just reading to your child. Even if they don't read yet, you want to get them actively involved. So you want them watching the pages and understanding the story, watching you as you read it and looking and appreciating the art that accompanies the book. And sometimes toddlers get to know a book so well, they've heard it a few times, that when you read the story back, they can actually tell you when you get to a page what the story is. And they're not really reading yet, but they know the story and they enjoy it. And they know what it means to read because they're telling you what happens on particular pages. So again, it's building that fun experience and that sense of confidence of enjoying that skill of reading. For emerging readers, it's reading with and beside your child. So you may be reading the same book together at the same time. Maybe you'll take turns. They read one page, you read one page. Or you may be sitting next to your reader, maybe reading the same book at the same time, or maybe even you're reading a different book, just keeping them company. And if they have trouble or difficulty with a word, they know you're there to help them. And they just enjoy the companionship of having you with them. For teenagers, it's reading as a partner. So again, you may be reading separate books, just hanging out together, or you may keep each other company and you may actually read the same book and have discussions at various times with the book. So again, with older readers, you're getting more involved in actually evaluating the story and talking about it in more detail. But for kids of all ages, it's the experience of reading together. And it's the passion of enjoying that time. Number 4 is make fun reading time a routine. So make it a habit. A lot of people with younger kids do a bedtime story where they get a book nightly often. And again, when you can make reading a habit and that it's fun, it really builds learning about what reading is and what it feels like. So So it's really helpful to make reading time together a habit and a routine. And let's talk about number 5, because that's really important. Let's talk about hesitant and reluctant readers. Well, that's often because they're having trouble reading, or they're not confident, or they're bored by a particular topic. So what can you do to have some books that are more interesting to them? So I'm going to talk a lot about that, about giving kids a choice. But let's go on as well. I want to talk about another key, and that is develop a love for reading by being a role model for your child. So let them see you sit down and that you love reading as well, that you take time for yourself as reading. And again, you may be reading the same thing as them or something different. Let them catch you reading. And again, for hesitant and reluctant readers, they often are hesitant and reluctant. I'm going to give you 3 reasons. One is they often feel they're sitting alone, they're reading something themselves, and they often feel isolated. Second, they may not like the topic of what they're reading if they were assigned it in school, if it's an assignment and they didn't pick it. And third, they may have difficulty with the level of reading a particular book. So for hesitant and reluctant readers, I really recommend strongly give them an opportunity to pick books that they like so they can sit and read something that they enjoy. Take them to the library or take them to a bookstore. And what do they like? What do they enjoy? Do they like sports or famous sports players? Buy them a book about that. Do they like music? Do they have a famous singer that they love? Get them a book about Beyonce or someone they really enjoy. Do they like butterflies or dogs or cooking? What do they like? And buy them a book with something that they can learn about a topic that really excites them. And this is really important, so I really want to emphasize this. To get kids to love reading, give kids books that they will love to read. I'm going to say that again. To get kids to love reading, give kids books that they will love to read. Topics that they're interested in. Maybe even magazines on specific topics. Be creative in finding things that your child will really enjoy getting into. And kids who are reluctant readers are often that way because they're reading books that are really beyond their skill. So if you have a reluctant reader, don't be afraid of offering an easy book for them to just enjoy on an easy level. Something that doesn't challenge them too much, that they can learn to feel confident and in control in as they build a joy for reading, as they build more confidence in their skills. And number 6, and I love doing this especially for the older readers and also for reluctant readers of any age, invite your child to be a book critic, to rate a book. Kids love giving their opinions on things. And they can even have a notebook and take notes on each book as they read it, as a book critic. What did you like about a book? What didn't you like about it? Would you recommend it to your class or to a friend? Would you read it again? Did you like the art that accompanied the text in the book? So that helps kids even think about the book that they've read and how we rate a book, how we can critique a book. It really makes them feel older and more in control of what they read and their opinions. So again, kids do learn to read in school, but they don't always learn a love for reading in school. And as parents, that's something that you can really offer and help build with your child. And again, I want you to be sure and be assured that when you come here, you have a full scope location for parenting. Parenting is difficult, and I want to offer you all the skills, all the topics to help you feel more in control of your life as a parent, more in control. Sometimes we talk about work-life balance or reaching goals for you at home or work, or building independence for kids, or helping them with certain milestones. So again, I want to remind you that you can come here because it is challenging, especially nowadays. There are so many more challenges that parents are facing. So let me know if I can help you with any issues that are facing you or your child or your family. You can always schedule an appointment with me. I'll try to get that phone link in our comments. If not, you can find it in the description in our group. So if you'd like to work with me directly or in a group, feel free to schedule an appointment with me. If you have any particular topics on your mind that you'd like me to talk about, also let me know. And I always look forward to seeing you in the group during the week when I give you lots of posts on lots of topics, and to have you back again next week for another important topic here. So again, have a great week. I will see you in the group during the week, and back here again next Sunday for another new important topic of empowerment. I will see you. Let's get together again soon.